My name is Steve Simon. By way of introduction, I'm a former two-term county commissioner. I have been at the helm of the billion-dollar budget for a number of years. I was chairman of the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council. I have seen the owl and the bear, and when they're talking about the budgets, I understand their budgets. When they're talking about where the money comes from and where it goes, I know where it comes from and where it goes. I taught real estate license law to just about 30,000 former adult students over 28 years. I taught everything from certified general appraising through mortgage brokerage to principles and practices in advanced investment analysis. I do bring some skills to the table. I'm not real pretty, I can't dance, and I don't draw a straight line, but I can do net present value calculations on a handheld calculator. And NLP is not strange to me either. There's a lot of people that I met that I love, that I made the acquaintance of during this campaign. One of them is not the opponent that I'm running against, and I am not interested in bad-mouthing, I am not interested in getting personal, but I am interested in about making things substantive. You have an unpaid position, people tend to assume that that is a little less volatile or a little less integral as far as how your day-to-day life is affected. You would be making a mistake with this one. This position goes back and forth to Tallahassee. They hear the proposed legislation, they hear the proposed platform planks, they speak to the committees, they help to recruit the candidates, and they promulgate how things are going to take shape in the early stages of campaigns. And what's wrong with the country now, in my opinion, is look what happens when you get someone in charge who has not been properly vetted, who hasn't had themselves dissected through whatever moons being aligned in the media. You've got someone that had a different set of goals, a different set of opinions, and certain levels of ineptitude, and he currently occupies the White House. And the trickle-down theory from there is approximately 41 or 42 months of above 8% unemployment, treaties going outside the country to affect Second Amendment rights. You've got some bizarre changes being made now. Hope and change it back. This is what happened because they went government top-down instead of government bottom-up. The current occupant of the position that I seek does not have the communicative skills that I have. This person came from a background in sanitation in New York, came down here, had a passion for the Second Amendment, guns and gun instruction, and that's what he has done. It is a one-trick pony. In addition to being a one-trick, a very isolated area of expertise and a very isolated area of interest, there's differences in how you convey information to people. When you sit in the county commission position and you've got 12,000 odd employees and you have the entire public coming at you and literally telling you their woes on a daily basis, you learn to be a little bit more receptive than the common person does. You're accessible all the time, every single day, 24/7. That's not been the case with the current occupant of the office of State Committeeman. There have been, I would say, 35 to 45 people who have attempted to do just get on the core party position, the REC. For Christ's sakes, we're not talking about judge, we're not talking about legislature, you're just talking about volunteering for your party. People who got up, walked to the front of the room, tried to get in, and they weren't seated. Now, it doesn't sound like a bad thing until you sat there for 45 minutes, had somebody badmouth you, and turn you away as a volunteer from the party that you're a member of. And this is done time after time after time. There's an effect. Statutorily, we have 500 vacant seats in the REC. 500 vacancies by slots. It's real simple. You know, you got a precinct, we're 70. We're precinct 70. So precinct 70 gets one committee man, one committee woman, and then for each 1,000 registered voters, you get another. So if you have 1,001, you get 2,000, and you start to get on and on, the bigger the precinct. They have had so many vacancies that they have run under 190 at times when they had 700 slots. Now one would ask, well, who's in charge? almost absolute control has been in the hands of one person for over 10 years. And this person has seen fit on more than one occasion, on dozens of occasions, to take people and say, I don't think so. You're not good enough. Based on what? Based on purely subjective analysis done by a man whose background is in sanitation. And I sit there and tell you that is wrong in so many ways, it's frightening. That is my #1 problem, other than the fact that the communicative ability of the person is lacking and the job is not being performed well. But the negativity of turning people away who wish to volunteer, it's going to be a lot harder for us to unseat a very liberal senatorial occupant. It's going to be very difficult for us to get this president out. It's going to be very difficult in ensuing election cycles for us to win, all because the core of the party, where the money, where the volunteerism, where all of that emanates from, is running at about a 30% to 28% size. And there's only one reason why they like it small. Why do you keep something small? It's easy to control. It's in the back going like this. That's what it is. That's how you control it. You keep it small. If I think I can control you, you're good, you're in. If I don't think I control you, there's a problem. It's been problematic. That's one of the main beefs. There's two more that I have, and I'll be brief. Endorsing people in a primary, when it's party against party, when it's one Republican against another Republican, and somebody sitting making a deal for who they're going to favor in that process, not only is it wrong because it stifles anybody who wants to come in from the outside that isn't connected, #1. #2, it's wrong because it takes away from the vetting process. It makes them lousier candidates when they get to the general election in addition to that. And here's the rub. You may not be aware of this. It's verbally stifling. Once somebody is endorsed, the opponent is no longer permitted to even travel the Republican club circuit. They don't even get to go in and talk. Did you know that that's how it works? They literally do not let the other Republican candidate in to even speak. They decided to endorse the vice chairperson of the local REC for a representative seat against a senator who's running and an 18-year servant of the county who has done nothing but good with his time, bless you, and is extremely popular, is not even allowed to enter the meetings to discuss what his experience is, what his abilities are, or what his intent or his proposed platform is. Endorsing in primaries completely bypasses the entire election process. It's totally wrong. They have done this time after time after time. Stephen, what was the biggest one that they did wrong? Wouldn't it have been the McCollum one?
Well, nobody was running that, I guess.
Yeah, but
no one was running.
they had Scott people barred from coming in.
Afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, all I can tell you is making a deal before you have your one. When you have your one, I said it tonight, I heard you earlier. When my guy comes out, wherever it is, I'll support the one. Beforehand, it's just so wrong. It's just so wrong. And they do it all the time. There's one last beef that I have, and it has to do with the dollars. The REC takes in money. Where do you think the money comes from? The Republican Executive Committee. It comes from you. Donations, charity. This is it. I think you're a good guy. I'm going to throw some money your way. We'll put it into the party. Hopefully they'll support the local candidate. And all this money comes in, and the socioeconomic levels in Pasco County has a wide range. You have very wealthy people, and you have people who are literally sitting there saying, it's chunk light tuna if I give you a $20 check instead of white tuna if I don't give you the check. And they're eating substandard food for them so that they can give that check to the REC. The current occupant of this position has used that credit card as his own credit card. They have been paying for people's gas. They have been buying lunches and breakfasts on a regular basis. There was an entry that I looked at online for repairing car tires. The REC doesn't own any automobiles. They didn't even repair the car tire of the committee person, the committee woman, the committee man, the chairperson. They repaired a tire of somebody else's, one of their friends. They are spending money at a ridiculous level and then saying that at the end, the columns balance. It's nothing more than a checkbook reconciliation. If the people who are giving this money and sacrificing knew what the money was going for, they would be very upset. There needs to be, day one, there needs to be spending guidelines. There needs to be parameters of what these party officials can spend for. How much can you spend? What can you spend on? What you can't spend on? And there needs to be reporting. Giving somebody a credit card and turning them loose and having someone who holds that card with the personality that says, if you challenge me, I will squash you like a bug, that is a recipe for disaster. That's why I'm running. My name is Steve Simon. I bring skills to the table, and I promise you, you may not agree with everything I said, but you will never be ashamed of my actions if you vote for me on August 14th. Thank you very much.